Hi everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. I just got back from my Spain trip. I'm still currently editing the videos. I'm going to do it at my own pace, but I will prioritize the review videos first. Today I will be reviewing the Somar Grunt Boots. So these pair of boots are designed by Owen Hyatt from his brand called Soma. I'm pretty sure he needs no introduction. When I first saw images of the boot, I got really excited. I knew I had to try it out. It resembles a classic military boot with a chunky outsole, something that is very hard to find in my opinion. So I picked up the boots when they first released on the 23rd of April. The boots took about a month to arrive. I got the tracking number after 3 weeks, even though he said we should receive it in 2 weeks. On his Instagram, he briefly mentioned that there's some issues with shipping as well as warehousing, which is fine. I did message Soma on Instagram in the process, but I got no replies even until now. So I'm hoping that the customer service as well as the responsiveness could be improved in that area. But with that aside, the boots are here and I can't wait to show it to you guys. Starting off, you have the Soma box in black. It has a nice magnetic closure. Here is the sizing and model code. Opening up the box, it came with black wrapping paper and an additional set of shoelaces. These are the original squared leather laces, which I swapped out with the flat wax laces because I find that it looks a lot nicer. With that aside, here is the first look at the boots. Starting off, the boots are constructed with a black Klondike leather imported from Turkey. The boots are constructed with a 2mm double tan leather with a brown core and a black exterior. It has a slight shine to it, very soft to the touch. The leather does scuff easily, but it would reveal a brownish bronze layer underneath, resembling distressing. Here is the exterior side of the boot. There is stitching at the back, as well as the front toe cap. On the front, you have the double-capped toe box. The shape is done very nicely. Here is the instep, very similar to the exterior side. At the back, you have more stitching and paneling, and it ends off on top with a pull tab. It has a brown suede interior. You have a gazetted tongue construction where the sides of the tongue are stitched onto the boot. So when opening up the boots, it flares out like a flower. Love the look of it a lot. Here is the branding as well as the sizing. Here's the insole. The top part is made from a brown leather. You have the Soma branding at the back. The underside of the insole is made from a recycled cork material. It has this bright multicolour speckled design, nicely cushioned and padded. It honestly feels like a stiffer Ortholite memory foam. This insole itself is a game changer and it adds immense comfort to the whole boot itself, and I feel that more boots should start using insoles like this. Here is the foot bit after the insole is removed. The boots are Goodyear welted. It has a double layered lug sole. Here is the outsole. It has an oil and wax based surface treatment. And you have the Soma branding in the middle with the oil resistant marking. Now moving on to sizing, I'm normally a US 9, 9.5 in Nike sneakers, and for designer shoes I wear a European 42. For this pair of boots, they fit slightly bigger on me, but I'm okay with that. I personally love the fit and I find it comfortable. It does fit a bit long, but because of the high cut shaft, it does not feel as big. For those of you who do not mind a bit more space, go through the size. If not, go one size down. While waiting for my pair to arrive, on Grailed I see many listings of the boots mentioning that their size is too big for them. Now the Soma boots itself, in terms of the tag sizing, it's a bit confusing. As you can see on the box, a Euro 42 translates to a US 10. Euro 42 is normally a US 9 in terms of designer shoe sizing. The insole for this pair in a Euro 42 is a 28.5 centimeters, which translates to about US 10. So for some of you, it'll definitely fit bigger on you, but I'd like to get a bit more technical and just share some tips with you in terms of sizing. So for some of you, when you're buying designer shoes or luxury shoes, you convert your sneaker sizing over to designer shoe sizing. Nothing wrong with that, but you may run the risk of getting a footwear that may be too big for you. What I would recommend is separating your sneaker sizing and your designer shoe sizing. That is why in my videos I usually break them up into 2 separate sizing. I'll give you an example. I'll pull up a Nike sizing chart here. For Nike, a US 9 translates to a European 42.5. Usually for designer shoes, a European 42 would translate to a US 9. And most of the time, because they are handmade or they are using different materials, it may already fit big. And if you were to get a 42.5 in a designer shoe, it would definitely be a bit too big for you. Another example would be Asics. This one is worse. So US 9 in Asics translates to a European 42.5, and a US 9.5 translates to a 43.5, different from Nike. And if you were to base your European sizing off the Asics sizing, you will be swimming in your shoes. And you may ask what constitutes designer shoes. So for me, the brands that I'm interested in that has been the most consistent, constantly putting out footwear for the past 15 years or more than 10 years at least is Margiela and Rick Owens. For Rick Owens, I would recommend using the Ramones and Geo baskets as reference. I know the boot sizing can be messed up sometimes because I myself have to downsize on the boots, but I feel that the Ramones and Geo baskets has been the most consistent. For Margiela, I would recommend the Gets. Those three models are pretty safe. And of course, the most accurate way, in my opinion, is to use the centimeter cm as a sizing reference, because that tells you the centimeter of the insole length. It's very hard to mess it up and it will be accurate most of the time. So if the footwear you wish to purchase has a sizing chart with the centimeter, always follow the centimeter. Switching between US and Euro, sometimes it gets very messy. I've worn this pair of boots and there is my foot imprint, my foot ends off around here. So this is the amount of breathing space I have, and I've gotten used to it. So the boots fit comfortable for me. They're not exactly perfect, but they are bearable and I find it comfortable and I'm okay with it. But I understand for some of you guys, it might fit way too big. So just for future reference, and hopefully it helps, always separate between sneaker sizing and designer shoe sizing. Now to sum up my thoughts on the boots. Now starting off with the design, I am a big fan of the whole look of the boots. It is a very good take on the classic vintage military boot with an added chunky outsole. I can see he spent a lot of time on the whole silhouette of the boot, especially the toe box as well as the outsole. I feel that there is very good control of the size of the outsole. If it's too big and too bulky, it runs the risk of being very trendy. And if you make the outsole too slim, it looks like a regular vintage military boot, which lacks the standout aspect. So in terms of proportions, everything is done very nicely. Now I'd like to touch on comfort. This is definitely one of the most comfortable boots I've worn. I worn them out for a whole day fresh out of the box. No blisters, my feet didn't feel sore, the insole is just so comfortable. I'd like to show you the insole again. The base and the thickness and the cushioning reminds me of the older Asics trainers where they use a very plush ortholite insole. This resembles that. The weight of the boots also contributes to the overall comfort. They look very heavy, but on hand they are reasonably light. I was actually very surprised on the weight and how light they were, because in photos they just look very bulky, but a lighter boot like this does contribute to the comfort. I can only imagine how comfortable they'll be after breaking them in and for the leather to mold to your feet. The boot itself goes well with my entire closet. Very simple to pair with clothes. If there's only one thing I could change about the boots, will be the addition of a zipper. To be honest, I have not worn any boots without zippers in a long time, and putting on this pair of boots did take a while for me, but I understand that it pays homage to a vintage military boot and those usually do not come with zippers, so I respect that. But overall, I can tell that he has worked really hard on the boots and they are very well deserving. An amazing pair of boots. It is not easy to find a pair that is nice looking and on top of that, comfortable. So I highly recommend them as long as you get the sizing right. Now I hope this video has given you the information you need on these pair of Somar Grunt boots. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.